At this time, I would like to invite up to the stage Aman and Aruj Kotek and their family to give their testimony. This is a very courageous family here that as they come up.
Okay, so it's the right time when my wife had to go for my baby's nursing. So I want to thank you first, the TAPIAC, for giving us the opportunity to attend this event and to experience the enthusiasm and the dedication and the generosity of all the audience here. So that's like eye-opener for us, because we were not expecting this kind of event to take place tonight. And before I share my experience of how TAPIAC changed our life, I want to share something that I came last year from Pakistan. And I was born and raised as a Catholic, and came to US to do my bachelor's degree. And I went back to Pakistan and was working for the last 17 years in a financial institution, multinational banks. And in 2015, I actually was conducting a training session where I had made a mistake of making a comparison of Holy Quran with our banking procedures. And that ticked off some of the participants over there, and they eventually even walked out from that session. And that basically started a series of events which started from threatening calls to actually facing threats for constant surveillance, being followed. My wife and my kids were being followed, and we have the sense of paranoia for the next 3 years. And basically, the turning point was where it was during that time that my wife was also expecting our second child, and on the eve of Christmas we had to move and shift to another place, which we felt that was more safe for us and for our family. So those threats did not subside, and then we constantly were feeling threatened. And in July last year, ultimately, the turning point was where we had Aruj, was my wife Aruj. She was actually being tried to run over by someone. So that was basically the reason for all those incidents or the threats were that those individuals, they wanted me to come up with a public apology and renounce Christian faith. And that was just like just writing down your own death sentence, because back home in Pakistan, if you have 3 witnesses who will stand against you and say that you have said something against your Islam or against Prophet Muhammad, so that's basically a death sentence by the court of law. So, we made the decision of moving here, and in November last year, we realized that we had an unplanned pregnancy, and that was a situation where I was actually filed for asylum, and I was waiting for my work authorization, and with no job and with being dependent on my savings and no health care, there was a very deep sense of insecurity being built up that time, and we had nowhere to go to, because we were making rounds of the health centers, and they were not able to help us in the situation that we were in, being in the process where we actually does not have any citizenship in US. So having said that, our asylum lawyer, or the immigration lawyer, she actually is, being a Catholic, she guided us to TAPIAC. She told us that TAPIAC is an organization that might help us. And we happened to meet a very wonderful person, Linda, who actually took our story. She understood what our requirements are. And at that point in time, TAPIAC was under the impression that it's just going to be a normal delivery. So we were given that assurance. But after 2 days' time, when we submitted all our Aruj's, my wife's medical history, they came to know that she has protein C deficiency, which basically requires for the entire pregnancy term certain medication, which cannot be supported by the normal TAPIEC program. So Linda got back to us and she told us that we have to get back to the health centers, the government health centers, to discuss this requirement, because the program itself, they can take care of the normal pregnancy procedure, but not for the medication that she required to take, because my wife had previous 2 miscarriages because of this deficiency. We went to the government centers, we went to Reston, we went to Joseph Willett Center, but we got the same answer that they cannot help us out. So we got back to Linda, and Linda just told us that she's not giving us, she told us that she's not going to promise anything, but she's going to get back to us. And the very next morning, we received a call from Linda, and she said that some of the donors have agreed to pay for the entire medication that Aruj requires. And she asked us to come over. And that was the first time I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Buchaski, because he was the first physician that who took initial assessment of Aruj. And the first thing that I witnessed was that he sent St. Thomas' prayer, and he said that the angel of God should be with Aruj for the entire pregnancy period, because the kind of high-risk patient she was. And that actually, with no family or friends being here in this country, TAPIEC became our family. We could reach out to them at any point in time we wanted to discuss anything. What we felt that even our personal crisis or personal issues that we were going through, we were actually sharing it with Dr. Buchaski and his team. And they have been very kind and helpful, at least being there to listen to what we had to say, or to share, that we could share this experience with someone. So Aruj is here, and that's our 3-month-old daughter. So that was the experience that the journey started with TAPIEC. And during this period, we were actually being overwhelmed with the kind of support that TAPIEC has shown us. I mean, so the procedure of Aruj delivery was performed by Dr. Buchaski. And actually, I planned to name my third one. My personal favorite was to name her Anaida. And it does not have any religious significance as such, but just to sound like the sound to the name. But the moment she was delivered, and my firstborn son name is Aryan, and he said, Ariana is born. So Dr. Buchaski named her, basically. So Dr. Buchaski actually he stole the show from me by naming my third. And so I just want to take this opportunity to thank also St. Leo Catholic Church, the parish where we are a member of, and Father Whitestone. He just left before the bidding started, so maybe he does not want to end up being part of the bidding. So, and the Gabriel Project, they is still helping us, and the church support that we have from Father Tipton, as well as from Melissa, Allison. They were there when our baby was born. They went and they came to the hospital to visit us. With no family there, nobody to visit us, they were the family that visited us. And special thanks to Mariam, who we formed a special bond with her, because whenever we felt down, even while being on a minimum wage at Target, I was working, I'm still working at Target, she was always there to give us that pep talk to keep us afloat in this challenging time. And last week, by the week, I ended up getting an opportunity to work in a bank, so I'm on a trading period. I'm going to DC, so that's a big deal. And I want to have special thanks for Dr. Buchaski and Linda, Susan Fisk, and all the physician team and all the nursing team. even the team that sits at the reception desk, because they never made us feel that we are alone. They always welcomed us. So that experience, that's a life-changing experience for us. So we're not planning to have another baby, and we're not going to have it, like, hopefully. But the kind of support like Tappy had given us, like, I would love to have another baby. And last but not the least, I want to thank the donors who supported us, who made it possible for the entire procedure to go smoothly. So this would not have been possible without their help and their support. And in the end, I like to just share this thing that we read about the saints, the lives of the saints, and what kind of good tasks they have been doing in their lives. But I had the real life opportunity of meeting a living saint. That's Dr. Buchaski and Linda.
Thank you. Thank you, Aman and Aruj. Thank you. There's nothing more beautiful than seeing a wonderful story like that have a wonderful ending. I believe it was August 2nd when Dr. B was able to bring Ariana into the world. So that's an absolute wonderful blessing. At this point, a quick moment of reflection before we get a chance to have everybody in the room be a winner, and that is to help support in a unique way in our hero portion of the auction. I can't help but reflect on a friend of mine, David B. Wright, who was a leader of 40 Days for Life, and David had an amazing experience that he shared at another event this summer. And his experience was he went to Jerusalem, walked in the shoes of Christ our Lord, was in the Garden of Gethsemane, was in the River Jordan, and it was an amazingly powerful scenario for him. But he said the most amazing part of this was visiting the Jewish museum in Jerusalem, the Holocaust Museum, I should say, the memorial, and what that impact had on him on that day. And as he was going through that memorial, and what rings in mind today, is that as he was exiting that memorial, there's a series of trees with plaques on them. If anyone's ever been there, and those plaques tell a story of people who were amazing supporters and helpers and assisters across the world during that Holocaust. Among them, arguably most famous was Oskar Schindler. And there's others that we don't know, we never heard the names of, never heard the stories of. But I think about that today, and I think about our battle that we are here to do today, and to try to end this awful atrocity of our time, abortion. I think transforming hearts through healthcare is really what we're trying to accomplish here. And it takes an army. We're going into battle, a spiritual battle, a financial battle, a marketing battle, a battle over words and messages. We hear that our opposition has some sort of enlightenment on women's health care. But when we really talk about women's health care and what's best for them, it doesn't have anything about stopping a beating heart.